We don't let facts get in the way. We're the middle class holes.
You know, I don't watch playoff baseball unless the Orioles are in the playoffs, which means I don't watch playoff baseball. And you son of a bitch, we're what, almost an hour late starting recording so that I have to watch the Dodgers and the Phillies. And yeah, now I'm fucking hooked. So thanks for that. So I guess now I watch playoff baseball. Son of a bitch, that ending, dude. How do you get to the 11th inning, the 11th hour, on the 11th day of the 11th minute, and fucking botch a game like that? I mean, I hate making a guy feel bad, but like, dude, hide the silverware, fucking put the handguns in the safe. Good God.
Yeah, listen, a win is a win. Obviously, any team is going to take it however they can get it. But what I'm saying is, like, in a situation in that game, you've dodged so many bullets. You're thinking, like, all right, Ohtani's going to hit a walk-off. Betts is going to hit a gapper. Freeman's going to fucking come through in the clutch. Nope. Comes in the form of a bases-loaded botch. Come back to the pitcher, who then, Kirkering just gets a little too nervous, a little too overzealous, then throws what could only be described as the worst shot in beer pong history, if he were playing beer pong, which he wasn't.
It was the 50-cent shot heard around the world, man. I mean, I don't know how you do it. I mean, I get it. You know, the old sniper saying, you know, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Like, how, I guess that's what amazes me about the ending of that game is that you got a pitcher who was in a pressure cooker of a situation, walks the bases loaded. It's okay, though. There's 2 outs. It almost sets you up for any scenario, which is what we just witnessed, and then all you got to do, playing the game you've always played. I mean, what was he, 50 feet? 50 feet from fucking home plate from where he was throwing the ball? And just you being a professional athlete can't compose yourself long enough to make a sure throw to the plate. I don't know. That baffles me. It's just wild.
Yeah. It's my dad used to get time and time again, like a bunt or a little nibbler to the left or right of the pitcher's mound, and they got to field it and make not a ridiculous throw, but a strong throw. And how many times they'd airmail him into, you know, down the right field line or off the first base line wall where the stands are. And it's like, these people are fucking paid millions to be accurate, and they just can't. If it's not over home plate, they can't figure it out.
Yeah, I do have sympathy. I always do kind of pucker my butthole, like in a tight situation, they got to go to first because you're used to doing this one thing to this one spot. And so I get it. All of a sudden you're out of your element, you know, in the blink of an eye, and you got to kind of perform a task that you haven't repetitively done. I kind of get the throw to first, but man, coming home, you don't have to turn your shoulders. You're literally facing the same object you were facing less than 2 seconds ago. Oh boy. Yeah. But like you say, man, that's playoff baseball. And by the way, this ruins my conspiracy theory from this morning. Out and about in good old Elkton, Maryland, and you know, Philly's not far from Elkton, and there was a squadron of fighter jets, which you don't see every day. 7 of them. In formation at one point, flying over the Cecil County skies, and I was just like, well, there it is. There's the Major League Baseball conspiracy. It's coming back to Philly. They're just practicing for that flyover. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got a Game 5 tomorrow and possibly another one on Saturday if the Cubs hold on to this 3-0 lead. We shall see. But, well, glad you held out for me. I kept texting. I was like, 10th inning, 11th inning. I was like, I wonder how many more this could go before Murr was like, all right, enough. We got to fucking record, dude. I know
I'm easy going.
I said I'd wait for you, but...
Nah, dude, look, as long as we're on the same page, you know, like, just checking in. I get it. You don't have to feel guilty about that shit. I remember when the Red Sox were making the comeback, you know, the reverse sweep against the Yankees years ago. And your brother had determined that he wasn't going to watch it because it's like, I'm not going to watch. They're just going to lose like they always do. I was like, or you could tune in because you might see history, and this may never be witnessed again for the rest of our entire lives. So, and I've talked him into watching, and he's like, dude, that's the greatest fucking series I've ever seen. So yeah. Don't fall asleep on history. That's all. Never
Thank
a
you for
worry in
that.
that
Middle
department.
class hole. The in between the holes presented by the middle class holes, Foxman and Murr. Wanted to run something by you and see if we could. We got to get some listener engagement on this one because I can't be the first person in history this has happened to. Awkward to say the least, but I thought I handled it with grace, kind of. Anyway, I was out and about in Delaware for a friend's birthday party. It was myself, Sarah, my friend, his wife, and two other friends. And at a certain point, we've been drinking all day, and we wound up at the Flying Dog Brewery in, I think that's Millsboro or Milton or one of the two, somewhere around there. So,
were you in slower, lower
on the
Delaware?
tail end. Yeah.
Okay, my old stomping grounds. Yeah, I'm not sure where Flying Dog is though down there.
Maybe I'm wrong. I need to look that up. It's Flying Dog, but anyway, so we're on the home stretch. Your boy is feeling jolly. He's laughing a little louder. The jokes are getting a little bit longer and more detailed and more confusing for the people who are listening to him. I go inside to use the bathroom, come back out, and I cross paths with an old fling. Now, how serious this was, it may vary between myself and her. But at any rate, we were a thing. That's what you want to call it. I hadn't seen her in 10-ish years. Hadn't heard from her. It ended on terrible terms. She basically told me, "You're a piece of shit. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of my life." She's now married, has 2 kids. And she's like, "Wes?" I was like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" Remain nameless here, anonymous. But wasn't sure what to do, so I shook her hand, which was really, really fucking weird. And we chatted for a little bit. She asked about the fam. I had mentioned my wife was outside, and that was about it. Went our separate ways. So I went back to the table, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is fucking weird." And I couldn't help but giggle about saying that I shook her hand, and of course the rest of the table chuckles and laughs. Not that. Obviously, we're adults and we weren't going to argue or have petty differences rear their ugly heads after a decade of not talking or seeing to one another. But boy, I did not expect to see her or anyone from my past there at that place, and it fucking happened.
You know what, Del? As awkward an interaction that is, I would say that I bet Sarah brushed her shoulders off when you weren't looking. Like, okay, all right, good man. He shook her hand. I mean, the obvious reaction to that to somebody who I'm sure you did more than shake her hand in the past. It's just like, hey, come on. This is the thing I do when it gets awkward. I do like, come on, real quick, but they'll tap on the back, like, all right, like, you good? All right, you good, and then move on. But yeah, that's fine, especially if you don't give a shit. I'll tell you, the best, again, not an ex, but a sort of ex-friend, we'll call him Lenny Kelliott, saw him at a Walmart, and, we weren't always on the best of terms, and he's not one for small talk, I know that. I'm sure he knows that I'm not much for small talk with him. We locked eyes for like 2 seconds, like recognized each other, and just went, and then went our separate ways. Just a double little, barely half head nod, like, yep, I acknowledge you. I acknowledge you. Good day. And we just went away.
Yeah.
And that was absolutely perfect.
I guess this could supersede former romantic partners. It could be friends, close friends or acquaintances or whatever. And that's in the situation which you were in. I knew that things. I knew what I'm not going to say I knew what she said to me. I was there when she said these things to me, and how emotional she was, and how pissed off she was at me, and how much she told me that she disliked me, and didn't necessarily wish me ill will, but certainly didn't wish me good fortune for my future. But I felt as though, like, okay, I'm assuming those things still stand, so you're not going to want to hug. And the best I could do is extend my hand extend my arm with my hand out and handshake.
Oh,
and it was
that's
awkward.
not true.
It was wildly awkward.
I'm sure it is, because I too have run into somebody like that before, and I was with Maria at the time, and I was like, I didn't know what to do, so I instantly introduced her to. I was like, "This is my wife." Like, just so we're aware of where we all stand here. I'm not trying anything. Whether you like me or don't like me, we don't have to have an awkward conversation because this is my wife. I don't want to have an awkward conversation in front of my wife, and I'm sure unless you're a complete cunt, you don't want to have an awkward conversation in front of my wife either. So,
Yeah.
good to see you. Let's move on. Enjoy your beer, and I'll be over here not talking to you anymore. And so, but
Yeah.
if you think about it, just in that relationship context, you played on plenty of sports teams. I played on plenty of sports teams. You know you had a teammate that you just didn't like. You didn't necessarily respect them, but they were a part of your team. And if you ran into them, it's like all of a sudden, like, are you really going to hold on to like animosity from like decades ago? You know, or is it going to be like, hey, we did share enjoyable moments together. Like our victories were shared. Our losses were shared. I don't think you have to necessarily. I think once the time passes, you don't. I don't think she wishes you dead at this point.
No, not at all. And we both said good to see you, and to be blunt and transparent about this, that Sarah and this person did not meet one another. Sarah did ask who it was, and there was the outside area, picnic area, was full of people, and I respectfully said I'm not going to point her out because I'm not going to partake in some staring match that you're going to have with her to size her up or anything like that. Just let it go. It worked itself. It was it from Office Space. These kind of things just work themselves out.
Well, knowing Sarah. Sarah could handle herself, I think.
Oh yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
In a clumsy, awkward kind of way, she'd be able to take her down.
I'd say the only situation the only situation in which it would have been an even match was Sarah would have had to have been ridiculously drunk, which she was, and this person would have had to have been somewhat sober, which she was. So it may have been on an equal field.
But then again, mom strength, that's a thing. You end up carrying these children around and, all right, okay. Maybe you should have pointed her out, why not?
It was the flip side of that. I had never met her husband. I didn't know who he was. She had met him long after our thing was done, and I was fearful that she was going to point him out and he was going to get Tommy Tough Nuts because he was slamming beers, and I was just like, oh god, this guy's gonna bark up my tree. I was going to say the wrong tree, but I was pretty drunk at that point, so it might have been whatever tree that is.
Did you take him? Did you see him? What'd you think? Did you care? What was your emotional status of that?
If he had gotten mouthy or persnickety?
No.
Short
no,
or just
listen. I know how our minds work. I know you were like, what's that guy? Meh. You're doing a lot of meows in your head.
Yeah, 100%. I had fucking taken him. Sure, he's about my size.
No,
a little awkward, not athletic.
Okay, is he handsome? What'd you think?
He's a handsome dude. Yeah, he was.
All right.
Like a shorter kind of redhead thing going on. He worked out, kept himself in shape.
Good ass?
What's that?
Is it good ass?
I get best guess. I don't know. But they also had their children with them. I wasn't gonna do that unless he really needed it, unless he really wanted it.
Well, anyway, I think that's the best way to handle it. Is the most, because now she obviously has. God, that's a great, because now that's your last memory now. Like everything before that was she now knows she made the right decision.
That's true. Very true. Yeah, look at that fucking idiot. Like Sarah man with a kind of a ho-hum handshake as well. It wasn't professional, wasn't firm and fair or anything like that. Yeah, it was just bullshit. So yeah, no, good point.
Yeah, I do wonder if like this is like a generational awkward encounter. Like I assume you and this lady got together before like Tinder and online dating, correct?
Yeah. I mean, we crossed paths the old-fashioned way, friends of friends. Yeah.
I do wonder if the generation below us or two below us at this point, I've heard they don't even meet people in IRL, as the kids say. There was I saw a TikTok the other day of some woman like in her like I don't know, somewhere between mid-20s and mid-30s, and was just talking about how, like, guys, if you see a woman at the bar, go talk to her. It doesn't happen anymore. If there's 4 beautiful women, one of them might just be so desperate they're willing to communicate with you. And so I'm wondering if, like, when this generation breaks up, if it is just a handshake, like, that is the appropriate, encounters. Like, good to see you. Yep, we had good times for a week or 2. Toodaloo. Bye-bye. Or if they just, like, delete the other screen name from their account and just they never interact again.
Yeah. I had to think, they say the old school finds its way of recycling its way into new generations. That's gonna be how they talk. Toodaloo, good to see you.
Toodaloo, good to see you. Meow.
Good
Well, because, like, it's gonna, what's gonna happen is in a few years, it's gonna become like the new hipster thing is like, you ever meet a chick in person?
Yeah. Sure. How'd you meet your wife? Well, I talked to her. Whoa, excuse me, I beg your pardon? Yeah, I saw her. She looked good. Wanted to introduce myself and, outspawn this great relationship that I now have as a marriage. That just sounds so foreign to me. That just sounds so unfathomable, uncrazy. So crazy.
The one thing I will say from especially watching TikTok, there's a couple guys that are walking around college campuses and, like, their initial offering, if you will, is so simple and good. Ah, man, I wish I had a mentor back in the day. Because, listen, I'm shy as fuck. But if I got a game plan that I know is going to be successful for my personality, some of these things they're doing, I'm like, dude, that's totally my game. That would have worked for me so good. But I had no clue how to execute. And I've been taught the ways at 46 and married with a kid. Like, there's no going back. It's over. I'm already successful. I'm fine with my success. But I just, all the successes I could have had, coulda, shoulda, wouldas, man.
Yeah. All the sexual conquests that you could have put in the spank bank today.
Today.
That's it.
Now I just shake hands with them.
Literally. Speaking of generational gaps, we're going to get to part 2 of this list of Gen X and millennials sharing their things that they survived that blows Gen Alpha's minds. Last week, I think at 64, we left off at 31, just the time constraints. I'm going to package a few of these together because of just similar characteristics and, just comparisons that you can draw. Anyway, blowing and smacking Nintendo games till you get them to work and not glitch. Or only having 3 lives in a video game, and when you die, you had to start from the very beginning. That's more arcadey, that second one. But that first one, Christ, man, I can't imagine. My slobber-filled lips and tongue. That did it. Shake it around 15 times, though.
And not just that, my other trick, too, was, like, barely putting it in almost to where the seam of the cartridge would, like, catch on the click down. Because, by the way, kids, if you didn't know, you had to push, like, you put the cartridge in, and then you had to click it down, and you would just so it's barely licking those little, like, diodes at the back end there. And then, and the other one was put a wedge of game on top of the game that you were playing, the 2 games in. Like, and again, this is all analog. Everything's digital now. Even with the Nintendo Switch, if you put a game card, the Nintendo Switch 2, if you have the physical game card, once you insert it, you still have to download data from Nintendo in order to play the game. Yeah.
Seems a bit counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's to protect that IP, baby. That way they can't, like, do that whole duplicate the game and resell it as a digital code somewhere. But,
okay.
I mean, everything was analog back in the day, and I just don't think this generation gets it. Like, what do you mean? It's like not like you can blow on computer code to, like, debug it or anything. And I learned, too, that the more recently some electrician was saying, like, online, like, yeah, you were actually damaging the game more by blowing on it, which seems counterintuitive, but the only way to get it to work was your breath puts moisture on the little metal bits inside.
Yeah.
And that's what causes the connection. But every time you did it, you caused it to corrode more, which made it work less.
Yeah.
The more you did it. But catch-22. It's not gonna work. So what the fuck am I gonna do?
Well, I was gonna say, like later on, I did buy a cleaner, which was essentially alcohol and Q-tips that someone sold me for $15, and whether or not, I think my foot was already out the door eyeballing a Super Nintendo at that point.
Sure.
So it didn't matter that much, and it was just, I'd probably damaged these things beyond alcohol and Q-tips and a little bit of TLC. So much so, like you said, wedging something. It could have, the Nintendo cartridge fit perfectly. There was another couple household items that I don't recall offhand that seemed to be the perfect, like, jam that in there. Got it. Okay, perfect. Actually, I think I had an old Game Genie that I just stopped using and just get it in there. So
Don't get me started on the Game Genie. I begged for that thing, and then when I got it, I just like, man, this is no fun. What's the point of this,
you're
man?
right.
Yeah.
I think it's just like beating games that were unbeatable and then feeling somewhat unfulfilled. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, by the way, we'll move on, but it's weird too, because again, generationally, so I'll get William a new game, and he will basically side by side with a YouTube video walkthrough and play the game. And I'm like, dude, why don't you figure it out on your own? But he wants to find every item before he moves on to the next like section of the game. Yeah. And it's just like, to me, I'm like, grumpy old man, why are you doing that? You're supposed to figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
And
I'll sometimes see these things on TikTok or social media shorts about secret passages in the original Super Nintendo. And I look at these and I'm like, come on. How the fuck did you figure that out? That had to have been so serendipitous. Just a stroke of luck to get bounced off of something and then, go above the brick wall. Not the common one in the first world, but some of the other wild ones.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch, and I've actually since gone back and done a few of them myself. Just like, oh shit, it is there. I don't know. There's just some weird like pleasure center that like lights up when you do it.
Yeah,
but yeah, how did you figure that out? I always feel like there's got to be the old school coders that are still alive and just like dropping hints online.
Oh yeah, 100%. Guys that like what do you call those Easter eggs around? Guys that are in their 60s and 70s.
You never found it. Yeah, they got to reveal it just so they'll feel like their life's work went away.
Right. This is a couple pairing these together, rewinding the cassette tape with a pencil because it's become unraveled inside the cassette tape, or rewinding a VHS.
Do you ever have the external rewinder, like separate from the actual unit itself?
You're talking about cassette tape?
Yeah, no, the VHS. Like, so my dad became concerned that he was going to wear out the motor inside the actual play feature of the VHS machine. So, he went out and he bought it looked like a race car, like the hood opened up and you put the VHS in, and when you put it in, it rewound it super fast too. Its only function was to rewind VHS tapes. So when you were done with the movie, you ejected it, and that way the head never had to rewind. It just had to play because he didn't want to burn it out. His baby there.
Gotcha. Yeah, we would go to a Movie King, one of one in Havre de Grace. And I remember, because obviously I was renting it most of the time, renting wrestling tapes. And if I was, did you rewind that Starcade? Yeah. You did? 100%. I thought I did. And they used to check them. They used to unbox them and look. And if you saw a little bit of slack or just even a little bit of anything other than that kind of clear part on the other side, they knew. And he was like, this isn't rewound. And my dad looks at me and I'm like, oh, Christ, sunk. And the guy said, don't worry about it. I'll take this one. But that wasn't enough. We got back to the Astro van. The old man was like, God damn it. You get that excited watching those fucking things? It's like, I do. You've seen me. You've seen how the synapses in my brain go fucking ape shit. There's metal pedals on our bikes hitting your shin. Call because you missed the pedal riding with no shoes on. Oof.
Well, that didn't have anything to do with shoes. Every now and again, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, it kind of depending upon, because I remember the first 10 speed I got that didn't have the rear brake, the back pedal brake.
Yeah.
Just do that. Yeah, it took me about a month and some really busted up shins. If the shin splints recovery group had been around in the late 80s, early 90s, I could have really benefited because your boy here looked like a fucking chihuahua had his way with his fucking shins.
Well, I've seen modern BMX bikes now. Jesus, man. Like, forever, the difference between a boy's bike and a girl's bike was the frame. So my finger. So the boy's frame seemed, kind of counterintuitively like straight across underneath the seat. And the girl's frame was more like that.
Yeah. You know why they did that, right?
No.
Oh, it's because early biking, in the early biking days, it was because of dresses. Women wore dresses, so they needed that area for the dress to flow. Yeah.
Yeah. So for some reason, and I guess they didn't, and I guess from a chauvinist point of view, they didn't expect chicks to be doing like dumb shit on their bikes.
I don't know. Or they just didn't expect guys to just constantly mashing their nuts into this thing. I don't know.
Well, I was always told that the frame was stronger when they did it, in like that straight across fashion, and because we were more apt to like, do dumb shit like try to bunny hop off a fucking culvert off the side of the road,
You got the VHS recorder ready? Watch me.
Watch me get 15 stitches in my neck. No, but now like the bar is not flat across. It's a little bit lower so that you don't, lose a testicle. And the pedals are a soft rounded plastic with a rubberized like grip on them. Yeah, everything's better. Just everything's better.
I can remember I had it might have been a Murray. Because Murray made bikes. That ring a bell?
I had a Murray. I had a
Murray 10-speed. And, man, this thing was... I rode that thing into the dirt. But it was a 10-speed that had... And I don't remember if it was the gear line or the brake line, but it ran across that top bar that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And became rusted. And I was freeballing it one day and wrecked. And I thought maybe I was asking my mom about my latest tetanus shot. Why? It's like, no, just curious. Just keep up with my general health. Certainly didn't drag my bare nuts across this rusted line. I'll tell you that.
Hey, hold on. Back up a second here. How did you get your nuts on the line though? Like,
so it ran like it was like it was tied down via like metal. I don't know, like
metal clips. I know.
Yeah, and it wasn't exactly like. I'm trying to paint a picture for listeners. It was a little. It had been wedged upwards a little bit.
Okay, I'm not concerned about where the line's running. I'm worried about where your balls are running. Like, were they hanging out like the bottom of your shorts?
Well, I did. Yeah, because I was wearing like Umbros with no boxers, and tried to perform some stunt that was way above my pay grade, and fucking bash them in. I was hurting, but I honestly the hurt paled in comparison. The worry of my fucking stones being tetanus.
I got tetanus in my testes. Yeah. God, that's almost like sexually assaulting the world wearing Umbros with no underwear.
It wasn't a well thought out plan, dude.
I understand.
Yeah. That bike actually got stolen, as did a lot of bikes that we had, which my parents used to fucking just get enraged at the fact that we didn't lock it each and every time. We did most of the time, but again, you do it, 1 in 100. You just throw it on the porch in the front yard. Someone might grab it, and that bike got nabbed. And my dad kind of did his song and dance about, do I need to call the police? And I was like, I think we just let this one go.
I think we just course.
I think this guy is paid it full.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I just thinking about you and your Umbros. No, I just remember I remember having a Bugle Boy bike shorts when, and I think I might have told this before, when like Lycra, spandex first came out, and I remember wearing them to school, and it was the first time I ever felt shame because I remember walking around and I looked down and I could see the outline of my penis, like right along my inner thigh, and I just was like, oh no, they're all gonna see it. Yeah.
That's what, actually, Dewey had brought this up because he had asked, did that fashion trend hit you? Because mind you, we're 3 years apart, and I said it was short lived. I think we rocked them for a day, and we're like, yeah, I'm good on that. No. And
yeah, it was about a week for me.
Yeah, mom, dude, I just bought these for you. Well, tough shit, made for me.
and if anybody doesn't know, we're talking about essentially yoga pants for boys.
Yeah, cut off well above the knee. Yeah. Think of Lance Armstrong what was who was that? Was it Floyd Landis was the one who came after him? I always think Greg Louganis, but the other American biker who won the Tour de France. This is Floyd Landis. This is another couple having textbook covers with paper bags from your local grocery store, or because that one predates me a little bit because I always had the official school sanctioned ones. But then wondering where your books came from, they just reuse them over the years, and they had to sign in so you'd see former classmates or not. Former people who preceded you having the same book before you. I don't know. I never came across an Andrew Murr circa 90, 91 or anything like that. But I used to get a chuckle out of some people that I knew having the book a couple of years before me.
Yeah, my brother's 5 years older than me, so I'd occasionally run into I think I might even had one of his books at some point. But dude, I always, even after they started doing the school issue, and by the way, the only reason they did the school issue book covers is because they sold advertisements all over that. Everybody took that Carruthers C and made something out of it. But no, man, the paper bag from the grocery, right before school started, you start telling your parents, don't throw that away. I'm going to need that. And then, man, the art you got out of a paper bag on a school textbook was some of that shit. The doodles were amazing. That's where we learned, honestly, if they would have just taught us geometry from okay, you see what you drew on here? Yeah. Okay, this is what you did. This is a right angle. This is an acute angle. Now you see how you linked it? That's a cube. This is called a tesseract because look what you did here. It never ends. That would have been a beautiful learning experience. But now, these kids, I don't even know if they get books anymore. William doesn't have any books. They're either all at school or it's all virtual.
Well, it saves money on the printing press. You don't have to. It's the grand conspiracy, capitalism. I used to think because all the ones I had, because if you sat there with an eraser and did some work on the printed ones, the ones you were talking about, the school issued ones that were just caked in advertising, either local, mostly local. I don't think there was any national ones on there. But anyway, if you really did some hand, put some elbow grease into it, you could get those things to erase. And county, if you erase a few words, a specific word is spelled out. But us not ever thinking that a teacher would see that. Of course, I got caught red-handed numerous times. What is that? It's the school book. Came like this. No, shut up. Get a new one. Ordering something from a catalog, waiting 6 to 8 weeks to receive it. I always think, not only that, think about not having your eyes on tracking or that, when it's going to get to your door, which dude, if it bypasses me by a day, I'm pissed off. How'd they miss that? How did that happen?
No, and that and considering the job that I do, I mean, one, that's a headache because sometimes the tracking's wrong. Though it's about 98% from what I've seen. We're pretty good at what we do. I mean, honestly, but it does happen. All right, you just kind of send your money off into the ether and just expect something to come to you one day.
Put a check in the mail.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm starting to comprehend the just the painstakingness that for Christmas shopping. If you didn't if you're ordering something and you didn't go to the mall, a parent getting something from a J.C. Penney's catalog, God, I hope this fucking gets here.
Well, I mean, that's the difference though, is because back in the day, stores actually had this thing called inventory. That's where they had the products that you were ordering on Amazon in the actual store, and if they ran out, you might have to go to another store. That's how shopping was done. Now, God, dude, you're right. I mean, I'm a Prime member, sir, so I expect everything I order to be here within the 2 days. I'm actually mad now because as a Prime member, if it's over $25, it'll come overnight.
Yeah.
So if it's not available overnight, I'm like, jeez. Yeah. God.
What else?
You mean I gotta wait? You gotta wait 2 days for this protein powder I'm wanting? Ugh. What am I gonna do?
This is this one. I'm not sure. I don't think I ever had this happen to me, but I think it's funny drinking water from the hose outside because we were told the next time we were to come inside, we had to stay inside.
That was a bluff. That was such a bluff.
total
They
bluff,
didn't want us in the fucking house. No, I drank plenty of, dude, that's all we did. And goddamn, well water right here in good old Conowingo, Maryland. Ooh, as cold as on smooth winter nights.
Yeah, you figure you're working a slip and slide for a good 6 to 7 hours. You just fucking bloop, 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 bloop.
Well, and not just that. Do you remember this? I don't know if they changed their sanitation habits by the time you got to Perryville High School, but I can remember like the first week of soccer practice because everything had just been sitting inside that fucking dingy storage fucking closet outside the building. Like one of those doors that you never knew what was actually behind it at a high school. Yeah. And the first week when they would fill up the jugs with the water, it was like a nice mildewy green, and you just drank it because you had no choice because it was a nice, humid August fucking sky in here in Maryland. And it's just like, I'm dying. And we would actually, by the way, kids, we would dip our actual cones that we were using from drills off the field to get our water. Those were our cups. So we would drink green water out of fucking cones that were just sitting in the grass moments before.
Someone's probably going to get mono. Survival of the fittest, though.
Dude, I totally remember George Reynolds, like, get some water, grab a cone on your way. And, like, so that was, like, it served two purposes. You cleaned up the drill, and then you got a cup. And I can remember, like, Danny Batelka fucking dumping a bucket of water, cone of water over his head, right over the bucket we're fucking drinking out of. Dude, what are you doing?
Back in.
God.
That's total Danny McBride moment from, was it This Is the End? It was cooking all the eggs and all the bacon. When I was in elementary school, lunch was paid with cash unless you were the poor kid with free lunch. Then they gave you a bright yellow laminated card and everyone in your class knew you were the poor kid. Ugh, I felt bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I am glad we get away because I know how mean kids are. You shouldn't be ashamed of it, but every kid's looking for an end to fucking fuck with you. So yeah,
Kids are ruthless. They are absolutely fucking utterly just no filter, barbarically ruthless. And it's sad. I witnessed it a few times. I kind of actually had a tough time reading this one. I thought it'd be funny. It's not funny at all. But yeah, we had a number of people with the free and reduced lunch is what was around when I was a kid. And that meant you either got like half or totally free. I remember asking my mom about it and she just told me to shut up. Like, no, listen, don't. That's we're not on that plan. That's none of your fucking business. Eat the goddamn lunch.
The worst part about school lunch again, cash. Like when I was in elementary school, the school lunches were 90 cents. So every day you got a dime back. So I remember lying to my parents and saying school lunches went up to $1 because for 30 cents you could buy an ice cream. So every Wednesday and every Monday I would get an ice cream. Because I always save my dimes.
There you go. That's something that's going to blow Generation Alpha's mind. Blackouts. They will never survive blackouts the way we did back then. By the way, that's when the power goes out.
Oh, not when I drink half a bottle of vodka. All right, gotcha.
Just wanted to disclaimer there. It's the tablets and everything else that are self-powered.
As long as they're charged. Now, William does freak out because the internet goes out. I'm like, dude, you've got downloaded games. Play them. You have a Nintendo. Play it. It's charged. And plus, like, all the fucking pre-charged battery packs that you can plug into around this place, like, you can get by. But I will say, I don't know, man. The first thing I would do when the power went out here was that me and my brother, we go get a deck of cards and just start building a card castle. That was our go-to event.
Yeah. I don't remember. I don't know. I think we just lit a candle and watched my dad drink Heineken.
Give it time. It's going to get entertaining.
You have a scary story that doesn't make sense.
The longer the power's out, the funnier it gets.
It's weird. It's a horror comedy mashup. Yes, I actually may have to take my time on this one. It's speaking of the stoner down the block, we all knew someone like that. The guy who claimed to know everything but was clearly making it up. There was a TV character on Cheers named Cliff who always rattled off facts that sounded suspicious. But in those pre-internet days, no one could fact check him. I'll end it there. But that's 100% true. The know-it-all that fucking knew every conspiracy, every little nook and cranny, and it was always like, how the fuck does he know that? You weren't going to whip out an Encyclopedia Britannica.
The thing is, that guy was right one time, and then everybody just believes everything else he said after that. I loved Cliff Clavin. Cliff Clavin was a great... Kids, Cliff Clavin, one of the greatest sitcom characters of all time.
He's Mount Rushmore of sitcom characters.
100%. That's a great Mount Rushmore question. Like, to wrap up an interview, who's your Mount Rushmore of sidekick sitcom characters?
So good. Not Maine. I mean, could Costanza, because it's Jerry, is the main?
Yeah. So, I mean, you could go Costanza, or would you go Kramer? I mean, for my money, I would go George over Kramer, to be honest with you. I always felt Kramer was like, he was such a comic relief character, but George would, whatever his neurosis was, push the plots along. I never felt like Kramer ever really pushed the plots along. He had his occasions, right, but he was just more comic relief than a plot. Yeah, so I put George over Kramer, but you would put him on your Mount Rushmore?
I'd put Costanza on my Mount Rushmore, along with Cliff Clavin. I mean, it's also splitting hairs, because you could give you any, Elaine, Kramer, George. You could also say Norm or Frasier in Cheers.
I wouldn't do Frasier. I was actually always surprised that they gave Frasier a spinoff, because I did think the Frasier spinoff was better than I always thought Frasier on Cheers was just such a fish out of water. Like, I got why he was there. Like, he was supposed to be the fish out of water, but I never liked that character when he was on Cheers, but I loved the character post Cheers.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay. Let me see if I put. Yeah. Okay. I get it now.
Would you put Kit from Knight Rider on Mount Rushmore?
Oh, the car. Well, yeah. I mean, I wasn't a huge Knight Rider fan. But yeah, you could. Of course, it was a character. How about Pam Anderson in Baywatch?
Oh no!
It had to be the other two.
Maybe an honorable mention. Maybe put her at the base of the canyon. That way you can get up close.
Right. Yeah. Now, I think maybe a discussion for another. Do you want to go?
Let's put a pit in that one, because now I'm like, my brain is going through the Rolodex of sitcoms and Jesus, Balky from fucking Perfect Strangers is a candidate. I mean, my God,
Louis,
let's do that.
Louis from Taxi.
Louis De Palma.
Yeah.
God, Danny DeVito. Not to get off on a tangent here. What? Well, Danny DeVito will have to go down as one of the most important. I don't know. I don't even know what you categorize him as. Most important actors of all time. He's such a linchpin in so many things. Never handsome enough or have the stature enough to be a complete leading man, but there's not a person, I don't think generationally, because of Always Sunny, Taxi, everything he's ever done, I don't think there's anybody who doesn't know who Danny DeVito is.
It's true. There's a good this wasn't on the show, but there's a show dedicated to actors who didn't accept specific roles or were tied up with other projects, so therefore they just couldn't do it because their schedules conflicted or what have you. And the woven weaves that are webbed in terms of how actors and actresses wind up in certain roles, especially with the chaotic nature that is Hollywood. Schwarzenegger pitched DeVito as the twin in Twins, and the producer was like, "Come the fuck on, he's not going to go for it." And they gave him the script, and he's like, "That's perfect. That is absolutely fucking drop. Yep, sign me up. I'm fucking in. Schwarzenegger's twin, you got it." And yeah, man, it's like for someone, at that point, a star, not a mega star, but a star enough to what's this bullshit you're pitching me? Dude, fuck off, piss off.
For the era, Twins is a great movie. It's still fun to watch. I've heard that that both Schwarzenegger and DeVito want to do a sequel to that.
Oh God, I'd sign me up.
What would you? Would it be triplets or would it be their lives post?
Yeah, you'd have to do it real time. You'd have to do it them today.
But no, them today. But would they find out that there was another
Oh, a third in the clog. Wow, yeah, wow.
And then like make him like a black guy, like who's there, like a Samuel L. Jackson or something like that.
Kevin Richardson. Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Watching Saturday morning cartoons and then Soul Train coming on. That time you knew cartoons were over and it was time to go outside for another week.
I think that was regional. I don't know if Soul Train always came on after cartoons where I am.
Yeah, no.
I feel like it was. I feel like it was wrestling for us.
Wrestling came on post cartoons.
I think so. Like Saturday mornings, like a replay of like a Saturday night main event, or I don't even know what they did. Like
it was all pre-recorded stuff. They would do it from a regional show, then go it like we have a live interview. Of course, it wasn't live. And then you got the Ultimate Warrior would come in and give some coke-filled fucking rageaholic yip yap promo, and then it would cut to another match or something like that of Earthquake beating I don't know Mike Runyon.
Oh, dude, I gotta tell you, this is hilarious.
That's not a jobber's name. I just made that up.
There's a Runyon out there. Was he a football player?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
It was Paul Runyon. Joking.
I think that was a Japanese mythical character.
Okay.
Paul Bunyan. Anyway, it's hilarious because William's been watching the old X-Men cartoon with me, and every episode starts off with previously on X-Men. And he's like, because we're watching it on Disney Plus. Yeah. So it's back to back to back. He's like, why do they keep doing this? I'm like, buddy, because when I was a kid, every week you had to remember what happened 7 days earlier, and sometimes you forgot details of the show. So they gave you a quick recap. It's like, but we just watched it. I was like, not in my day. And if I missed it, I might have to wait 6 months to see it again. So yeah, they tell you what happened before.
Yeah, and you didn't have the wherewithal or sometimes the resources to record it. I didn't record a lot of stuff. I don't know about you.
No, because there was only like, I can't remember what show it was. It might have been like Quantum Leap. My dad loved that fucking show. And that was the only show that was ever set up. And you had to have a blank or a VHS cassette that you were willing to tape over something on already installed. You had to figure out how to set the fucking goddamn nuclear codes for a timer to go off on a specific day of the week on a specific time. So yes, a lot of things never got recorded. You got 2 shots a year to see a show. And you might have to that's what I always remember too. We would miss like a show like right in the middle of a season. And my dad would be like, I guess we got to wait till November. You would miss like 30 minutes to an hour of continuity for the season of something you were watching, and you'd finally get caught up in like 6 months.
So much character development, so many plot points. Ugh. Yeah, actually thinking about it, I did watch, and obviously it had something tied to it, but it was a social media short of Quantum Leap where he is transformed into the body of someone with Down syndrome. He looks in the mirror and goes, I'm retarded.
Yeah, that's a pretty famous clip online these days.
Yeah.
By the way, Sam Beckett, you know this? They got canceled. They were going to do a final season. It got canceled before the final season. So they all they could do at the end of what should have been the second to last season is they put up a black screen with text, and it said, unfortunately, Sam Beckett never made it home.
Didn't miss that one, did you?
But here's the thing. Scott Bakula, he's probably like 70 now. He's got some vigor. Can we get a Quantum Leap movie? Can we do that? Let's wrap it up, boys. Fucking 35 years later. Let's fucking put the fucking nail in the coffin. Let's do it. Sam's been, and you could have this beautiful, with all the fucking technology we have, you could have this beautiful compilation of where Sam's been for like the first 30 minutes of the movie. Have one good one where he like maybe ends up in his own body from an earlier year and has to wrong the right in his life.
Hey man, movies they'll never make. We got it.
God damn it. Let's put that one on the list.
Book it. Quantum Never.
The Final Leap.
It's climbing and falling off a 6-foot monkey bars onto plain concrete.
This nose is crooked. remember the spider web thing, like the dome.
Guys?
No,
Yeah.
no, this was at Bainbridge Elementary School. There
Okay.
was like the monkey bars that formed like the dome, and this is the dumbest thing I ever did. So I had my arms on one set, and then I had my feet so I was like inverted like that, like my stomach hanging down towards the ground. And for whatever reason, I guess I figured on my legs like this, my feet like this, that I could let go of my hands and do a somersault or some shit. And I went whack from like 6 feet up straight into my fucking face, blood fucking pouring everywhere.
God. Then that was in school. They probably just sent you to the nurse, and she's like, "Yeah, put an ice packet on it. Go back."
Well, this was great. I'm like bleeding profusely, just gushing, and I'm walking to the nurse's office with the teacher, and she's like, and I was fine. I was fine. It sucked, but I was fine. And she kept looking at me, going like, "You can cry if you want." I was like, "I'm okay." She's like, "No, it's okay. You can cry." And I'm like, "I'm okay." And she kept saying it, and finally, I'm okay. And I just started bawling.
I need to see the guide counselor now. Now the one I brought up, it was Havre Grace, and it was underneath of it was like wood, like a bunch of wood chips. But this thing, in my young mind, it seemed like 100 feet. It was probably 15. Again, way too high for 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds to be up there. And I personally never did fall, but witnessed many of horrific crashes. Just something that was like, "Oh, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. He fucking died. Throw him in the Susquehanna. Give him a Viking burial right now. This is fucking disgusting." But like, and it just remained for years and years and years. And it's like, sometimes like a lot of these contraptions from my youth are gone. There's like 3 or 4 playgrounds where these, these just immaculate things that were built in the 30s and 40s that stood when I was a kid that were just way too unsafe to be playing on. They took them down, and there's a part of me that's like, "Why'd they do that?" And then there's a part of me like, fucking why they did that. You know exactly why they took that down. You know why they replaced it with plastic and made it not 40 feet in the fucking air.
And not fun anymore, I know. Now, I drove by, there's a playground I used to go to when I was a kid. Dude, it's still there. I swear to God, it was just the fucking, the hood of a 1978 Ford Fairlane that they fucking polished until it shined. And it's still there. It's still there. And I remember as a kid, like, that was the one, like, you ripped all the skin off your thighs on. They would wax it, like, once a year.
Yeah.
Still standing. But the best one I've seen recently is there was a playground. I'm not sure where it is. But apparently parents were complaining that the slide was too dangerous. And they were trying to get it shut down. And finally a cop on video shows up and is like, "All right, I'm going to go down the slide. And if I determine it," he busts his fucking ass and instantly goes and grabs the fucking police tape and just fucking ropes it off. Like, nah, city's got to fucking fix this shit. Homeboy came down at like 100 miles an hour.
And a physically fit adult / public servant fucking was the litmus test.
Yes. The cop was like, "All right, what are these parents complaining about?" Boom. And just, taser and ass. Taser goes one way, ass goes the other way. Shut her down.
That's it. That's like, there's one in Perry Point Park. There was like 3 of these kind of Lincoln log style jungle gyms that had like little nooks and little kind of like walkways and pathways and ladders in them. But 2 of them had these 6 to 7 foot wide, 10 to 15 foot long stainless steel slides. Just a sheet of stainless steel. And I remember Dewey was playing baseball, and my mom was watching his game, and I was, a couple 50 yards away on this thing, and it was just it was beaming with heat and not slick at all. And I went down, I was wearing some Daisy Duke Oriole shorts, and those things rid up, and my ass went, and I think I managed to put my feet down and kind of shimmy down it and went back sobbing. My mom's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not pulling my pants down or up to show you, but you're going to take my word for it that there are 2 strawberries below my ass cheeks on this one." This might be a little bit, I'm trying to think, maybe in the wheelhouse when you were at College Park. The threat of pulling 20 to life for my LimeWire bootlegs. The media had me feeling like a young Capone.
No, LimeWire, well, that was kind of there at the tail end, but Nah, dude. When I worked at the radio station, if there was something we didn't have, it was go back to the back studio and start downloading it. And damn, those fuckers would take 3 hours for like one song. You would just start it up and pray.
And it was about 50-50 that you're going to contaminate, your hard drive of some sort.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you were going to get some sort of virus or some sort of cookie. I don't know. That's something that didn't belong on your computer. Yeah, I mean, I sabotaged a desktop and a laptop in college, downloading all that shit. My mom was like, Jesus Christ, can you just fucking knock it off? Yeah, of course I could stop it. And the only way to stop it was to not have the internet for a year.
Right. Well, and the worst though was like once people realized that, I don't know what they were getting out of this, but occasionally you would get one, you'd wait 3 hours for the song to come through, and then it would be like a pre-recorded Bill Clinton impersonation, like, hey, I know you wanted this song, but I'm here to tell you that you're an asshole. Like,
yeah, or it being a really, really bad cover recorded with an MP3 player at a bar. Like, yeah, this is Sublime doing Santeria. Some local hack. Crystal ball. God damn it. Thinking the world would end when Y2K comes.
Now, okay, were you at the Y2K party at your house?
No, I was at the Raxon household.
Okay, all right, because I was so your brother apparently then threw a party, and I was there, and at the stroke of midnight, I was downstairs in your basement, and I hit the breaker.
Good for you.
Yeah, I just went kunk to like just one of the rooms, and just to hear everybody freak out right at midnight, and then I clicked it back on.
Good for you. Yeah, I actually remember my parents like saying, "Oh, we weren't like." Adam's dad was particularly worried and had a whole just bunker filled with enough MREs and dry goods that could last the family for a year and a half. My parents said no, but magically the basement started getting filled with
pork and
beans and
crispy hexagons.
Crispy hexagons, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, everybody wasn't okay. I would say the problem is the news. Everybody thinks today's news is the problem. Nah, news was a problem back then too. They like sensationalism as much as anybody does in this particular era, and I don't think anybody really thought anything was going to happen. But there was always that. But
what was the money, right? It was the banks.
Yeah,
weren't going to be able to like go into 0-0 was going to go back to 1900, and everyone's bank account was going to be zapped, and you were going to be you weren't going to have any money, which was the big worry. And I think any middle class person, especially in 1999, if they didn't have a little suspicion, I think you're lying.
Yeah, no, but I will say the greatest thing that happened because of the Y2K phenomenon was getting the greatest pop intro to a professional wrestler, in my opinion, of all time, when Chris Jericho came in as Y2J, and that countdown had started for goddamn like 2 months before, and when he came out, break the wall down, god damn, that was glorious. And I've watched him talk about that since, and he was like, I know that people appreciated me in WCW, but I did not know if my presence was going to translate to the WWE. And when he came out and the fucking room erupted, oh, that was so goddamn good.
Even after The Rock kind of was like, who the hell are you? It still didn't matter. He was so over.
Yeah.
Even when you get the Rock, one of the cornerstones of the WWE or F at the time, poo-pooing who the hell are you, and still breaking through and being over at that point. Hell yeah, you knew you had it.
You made the list.
That's right. I'm going to backtrack a little bit because some of these are redundant. So I'm going to go from the back up and where we finish off. The Challenger explosion and no trauma counseling after. We were expected to just move on to the class the next day and go about everything like it was normal.
Yeah, I don't ever remember any like decompression from that.
This was so that I was not in school when I actually don't remember the Challenger explosion, but I remember. Didn't you say they wheeled in a fucking TV? Like,
oh yeah, the big By the way, this is what's hilarious about the big TV. One, it was on a cart. It weighed about, I don't know, 100 pounds.
The cart was rated for 50. They had bungee cords.
But just the most 1980s thing of all time is that you know, the sides of the TV was metal, but they had painted it in a wood grain pattern because most televisions of the time were furniture. And yeah, they wheeled it in. It was 2 classrooms bundled together. So, I mean, you got to think elementary school. So I guess it was kindergarten, first grade. I think I was in second grade. Let's see, what's this, 85?
85, yeah.
Yeah,
85, 86, yeah.
So it was January, so it must have just turned 86. So I was in first grade. So yeah, it was us and the second graders wedged together, or us and maybe it was kindergarten first and second all wedged together. And yeah, as soon as those the boosters started spiraling, and then the big boom right in the middle, it was just like, all right, guys, we're gonna go back to class, and everybody was just literally like, what happened? And they didn't say a goddamn word. We just went right back.
Did they die? No, probably not. You know, they have parachutes. They're professionals.
I honestly think somebody might have said something about parachutes at some point. But no, they literally just hit the fucking switch and turned the TV off and said, all right, guys, we're going to go back to class and we're going to finish up for the day. It's like, Jesus Christ.
This is one of the weird coincidences of that event. A jar of worms survived. I don't know what they were going to do with it. I don't know how they were going to experiment with it. But
how do earthworms, like, create tunneling systems in zero gravity? I'm sure, but
sure.
How do you know this? What was this factoid
from? Believe it or not, it had to do with 9/11 conspiracies and things surviving aviation disasters.
Oh, okay.
Because they found a passport of one of the pilots.
The most unnerving thing that I've heard about the Challenger disaster in recent years, now that they're willing to talk about it, it's been so long, is just that, like, 2 of them apparently were conscious. Like, that fucking...
Oof.
2 of them were conscious, and, the escape plan didn't fucking work. Like whatever survivable thing was put in place survived, but then it was like, shit. So the whole parachute thing, like, oops. Yeah. So they died when they hit the water.
God. So they had to live through that bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, I have 2 more. Then we're going to get to Fun Fact Friday. Computer crashing while you were putting the finishing touches on a school report and you didn't hit save.
Yeah, more often than anybody. But you know what? The funny thing about that is like that happens so often that was still a legitimate excuse. Today, that would be bullshit.
Oh yeah. I mean, I had one happen to me in community college. Saving it, I was in the computer hall, putting the finishing touches on some fucking 10-page, 12-page bastard, and became a corrupt. Then floppy disk was more of a hard disk because this is after floppy disks, and I feel like I'm trying to give a chronological order to the young audience that doesn't listen to our show. But you know what I'm saying? The 3.5 inch disc, it just like wouldn't save, and I thought, oh, what the hell? And went to a different computer. What the hell? Went back home, nothing, and just lost my shit. Broke something in my brother's bedroom, and talked to my mom, and she was like, well, you're just gonna. Looks like you're gonna have to knuckle down and pull an all-nighter. I was like, all right, okay, cool, and did it. And I remember at like 2 a.m. I was about the 3/4 mark, and I was like, fuck it, I'm stealing a beer. I'm stealing it. I don't care if they ask me about it. I'll tell them I drank it. Fuck this. Last one here on the things that millennials and Generation X shared that would blow Generation Alpha's mind away. Riding in the back of a pickup truck down the highway. I don't know if I ever down the highway. I'm not sure. Even in my time, down the highway was a little bit different, but through back roads, town streets, and things like that. Hell yeah, I did it.
Yeah, Route 40. We did Route 40. I remember we had a Little League game in Haverty Grace, and then my dad in his Mazda B2200 is like, all right, guys, I can't fit y'all in the cab, so you can ride in the back. And honestly, my bridge phobia, I believe, was triggered by this because my dad was worried about the toll booth operators. There's another one. Toll booths we didn't have Easy Pass, so my dad was like, hey, listen, you guys will lay flat in the back of the truck so they can't see you. So staring straight up at the sky and getting that vertigo from being already kind of high up and then looking up. and then going underneath the arches of the Hayden Memorial Bridge.
Yeah.
Something happened in my brain, and it fucking broke, dude. And I was like, I don't like this anymore. And yeah, from that day forward, I've had a phobia of fucking bridges ever since.
Damn. Fucking pickup trucks. You shouldn't have been there. Should have been in the goddamn cab.
By the way, just kind of sort of similar, parallel to this, on Earth Day, when we were in high school, we would go down to Perryville Park and we'd clean up trash and shit. Just to tell you how lax like safety was back then, they let us ride on the side of like an industrial, like almost like a landscaping pickup truck that had like the really industrial bed that had like handholds on it. They let us ride on the side of it, just holding on to it.
Yeah. Never going to happen. Ever
High
again.
school, foot on a wheel well, hand on this, just using brute strength to fucking not die, going down fucking Route 7.
God. Wow. Yeah. Well, that is a phenomenal list. That rounds it out. We did the first half of that 2 weeks ago on the Between the Holes, presented by the Middle Class Holes. We're going to take a quick break. We will be back with this week's Fun Fact Friday. Stick around.
It's a case of very little brain going bad.
Go pump some neurons. Expand your craniums.
And now, Fun Fact Friday.
And here we go, officially time for your Fun Fact Friday. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Brought to you, of course, by our great friends over at the Shin Splints Recovery Group. You can check them out on Facebook. Also on Facebook is the Flat Earth Science Advocates for Truth. Now, that one's been a neglected site on Facebook, and there's so many conspiracies out there. Time to jump back board on the old flat Earth theory. And don't forget about our other sponsor, the Cuckster. You can find him on both TikTok and Instagram. That's Cuckster for Life. Cuckster for Life on Instagram and TikTok. Has Cuckster been up to anything new in the recent...
Cuckster's been a little bit dormant, but he's excited that the summer is over and that the cold weather might bring in some more fascinating and exciting cucks to his and his wife's life and some of the hotbed Rust Belt towns of this great country.
Cuckster has some good vacation time coming up. You know, he's got a little...
I think every day's a vacation for the Cuckster.
That's a good point. All right, so let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you on a Friday. Did you know, in 1968, known as the Year of the Pitcher, Bob Gibson posted a 1.12 ERA over 304 innings, the lowest single-season ERA in the modern era for a pitcher with at least 300 innings. His dominance was so profound that MLB lowered the pitching mound from 15 inches to 10 inches the following year to restore offensive balance, fundamentally altering pitching dynamics.
Yeah, I did know that. It's also the last year of a 30-game winner, Denny McClain on the American League side with the Tigers. Yeah, that sometimes it's both fascinating and somewhat aggravating as a baseball enthusiast as myself. It's because they always bail out the hitters. Like, pitching's got too good. Gotta make this game more offensive minded. Let's lower that mound. Y'all have gotten too good.
I think it's a strange duality because I think like if you're a baseball fan, like fan,
yeah,
you love pitching maybe more than hitting. But if you're a nuanced fan or a fringe fan, you love hitting because that's the exciting part of the game, right? Yeah. I mean, because pitching's chess. Hitting is, I'm not going to say checkers, but, you know, hitting's lawn darts, man. Like, oh, shit, what's going to happen? Like, let's, right. You know, so I get it. So what's your, so where are we at now? What is the mound height at this point?
It's remained the same since then, since 1969 when they lowered it.
So what would you do? All right, Wes, not that baseball needs a lot of fixing in this era right now.
Yeah.
It's doing pretty good.
I mean, I it's tough to say because, I mean, the pitchers now, we know what they're getting. I mean, it's all out, 100% full bore velocity and spin rates on every single pitch. And I'm not saying that Bob Gibson didn't bring it, but he also knew. Bob Gibson threw 3 complete games in that World Series. Game 1, Game 7, Game 1, 4, and 7, and the third of which was on like 2 days rest. So it's really tough to compare eras. I don't know if I'd change a whole lot with the hitting and pitching. I would. I mean, think of it as I was against the shift, but I'm still watching. I was against the bigger bases, but I'm still watching. I was against the pick off moves, but I'm still watching. So I don't know if I'd change much right now. I'm not a big fan of the runner on second in the extra innings, but
I don't like that. I don't like that in the playoffs. I don't like that in the playoffs.
They don't do it in the playoffs.
Oh, okay. I was wondering that. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because tonight was my first postseason, playoff watching experience. Because I don't think they had put that. I guess it was in play with the Orioles, but they didn't have.
They didn't go to extra innings. No,
yeah,
they didn't score enough runs.
Yes, I didn't. I never witnessed that phenomenon. I would say this. I hitters are so good. Pitchers are obviously pitching like a motherfucker. But if we want to save these pitchers' arms, maybe raise it 2.5 inches, split the difference.
Yeah, or an inch, and then see where it goes. I mean, yeah, you're getting to a point where these guys have to throw like that in order to get hitters out that are that good. And, it's a no-brainer. You're blowing your arm out because you have to fucking give that much juice, that much octane, that much adrenaline with each and every pitch. It's just not natural. From the hitter's side, I would say, like, not every fucking pitch has to be driven, and that's just the nature of how hitting coaches and statisticians and the analytic teams tell these guys to do it. When you see your pitch, it's going out of the park.
Yeah. Well, I think I discussed this with your brother at one point. Like, I would say start. Check this out. Start raising the mound, but do it like either half an inch or an inch over the next several seasons. Like, give everybody a chance to adjust. It helps the pitchers and it helps the hitters adjust. So there's not like this dramatic change, and then eventually maybe get it back to its original height. That way, also, we've talked about this a lot. Like, that way you can start to give pitchers, the ability to kind of like not throw high velocity.
Not have to fucking do that all the time. Yeah, and I do think that this pitch challenge thing next year will help. So the pitcher, the hitter, or the catcher can challenge a ball or strike. I think that's going to help things. Yeah, and I don't disagree. Even if it's 3/4 of an inch, half an inch, you're going to have to do it in the minor league first. That seems to be the litmus test with everything. So, yeah. But there's a really good fact about Bob Gibson. The last hit that he ever gave up was a grand slam. Now, at this point, he was kind of a relief pitcher, well past his prime. I think it was like 6 or 7 years later in an all-star old-timers game. He hit that guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, hit him with a pitch.
Yeah, and that's baseball, baby. Like,
it's
holding grudges is pure baseball.
If I ever see that cocksucker in a goddamn old-timers game, putting one in his ribs.
All right, staying in the world of sports. Did you know in 2025, Baker Mayfield matched Brett Favre from 1995 as one of only 2 quarterbacks in NFL history to guide their team to a 4-1 start with 3 victories, driven by fourth-quarter comebacks, highlighting their shared knack for clutch, game-stealing heroics. I'm on the Baker train, baby.
I mean, I saw a great meme the other day about all the quarterbacks that the Browns have had post Baker. Say, like, that's what you traded for. That's what you wanted. That's the collage of people under center that you wanted. And you're right, man. Like, not only is he bringing that bravado and that gusto and that kind of arrogance meets confidence that some people is off putting this in a system that's working. You're getting the best version of that guy, and it's exciting to watch. I'm on board. He's the MVP in my opinion
right now, 100%. If they can, I do feel like they need to start pulling away from games like early and like just proving that they are who they say they are or who they're proving themselves to be. I put a bet in for them to win the Super Bowl about after week 2. I was like, fuck it. I think this is because they're well-rounded. Baker's proved you need a guy that can come back in the clutch. He's obviously proven he can do that. And they're good enough. They're good enough without the fourth quarter. Like, they're staying in games and then some tomfoolery is occurring and they're able to still pull it off.
And
Not just
he can also do it without all of his weapons. He
yes,
can win without Mike Evans. He can win without Chris Godwin. He's doing it, not saying single-handedly, but you chop a leg away, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'll hop on one and I'll make it work."
dude. And honestly, his press conferences, he's so fucking honest. I love the shit out of that. And somebody did ask him, like, what's the difference between, what they criticized you about then and what we're, kind of like propping you up for now. He's like, I don't know. I'm still just me. He's like, back then I was cocky. I was this, I was that. Now I'm a dog. I'm a baller. Like, I'm just fucking me, dude. And I ain't like, I want that. Why do we continue? I just hate the media for like, let's find a chink in the armor and cut this guy down. Same thing's happened with Aaron Rodgers. Oh, he's a free-minded, free speaker. Like, let's hate him for it.
Yeah.
Let's fucking champion them for their uniqueness.
One, with Mayfield, they don't want to see you that brash and arrogant out the gate. And I don't even think he was that brash and arrogant. He wasn't the Johnny Manziels of the world. He was as arrogant as a starting quarterback needs to be. And with all due respect to Joe Flacco, that guy couldn't talk his way out of a wet paper bag. And I love Joe Flacco, and I love him.
Same.
But I think I think there's this unwritten rule about, like, hey, you should taper that bullshit when you enter the league, and you should be humble and happy to be here and shut your fucking mouth and earn your fucking paycheck. And if you do otherwise, then we're going to say, no, this guy, he's a loose cannon. It's a red flag. It's a bad clubhouse. It's a bad scene. He's going to get all the bad press. And, for a guy like Rodgers, I think sometimes the media puts way too much. They put a mic on these guys 365. And that's part of the problem, too. Like, I don't give a fuck what Aaron Rodgers does outside of football. I don't care. I care what he does on the field. And he's a fucking first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a top 5 all time.
I'm glad you said that. I want to have this discussion when Alan rejoins us. When someone says top whatever, so that does that mean that you think he's the 5th greatest quarterback of all time?
I would say he's number 4 or 5.
Okay, because whenever I say he's top 7, that means he's my number 7. You know what I mean? I always say basically you're like, I say he's the top this, meaning that my highest number is where I'm actually placing him.
Yeah, I would put Brady, Marino, Manning, and Breeze ahead of him.
Whoa, would you put Favre ahead of him?
No. I think he's a better quarterback than Brett Favre.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I love about Baker,
then it's like Favre, Elway, Unitas. Then that realm.
because like what I like, obviously, like, listen, Brett Favre was the first player that caused me to watch games outside of my team because of the way he played. That's
Sure.
what Baker does for me. I almost feel like they should have the NFL, if they're smart, should have the Baker flex. Like if your in-market team is not playing at like a specific time, just put that guy on. He's worth the watch. Just like Caitlin Clark with the WNBA. Like, nobody else cares about these other teams. Like, so we're gonna give you the fucking fever.
My game's over. My Sunday's open. I want to watch something else. Football.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to watch Baker Mayfield, but even if it's just the fourth quarter, like, we're going to interrupt this shitty game, then we'll give you this.
That's right.
Let's see what happens here.
This game's 4 touchdowns away. We're going to cut your local ties to a Baker Mayfield game. Yeah, whatever, man. I don't disagree. Yeah.
Yeah, and
he is in the driver's seat for the MVP. We got a long way to go. We got
absolutely. But it's a fun fucking watch. It's why we watch sports, man. Like, everybody, if it's your team, you love a blowout. If it's not your team, you want to see a fucking dog in the fucking fight. I mean, some of the shit he's already pulled off in the first 5 fucking games of the season, like him like coming up limp and then somebody talking shit, and then all of a sudden limp's gone, talking shit right in their fucking grill.
Y'all shouldn't have talked shit. You should have been like, "Hey, you okay, man?" Then he would have limped more.
The best one, I don't know, I can't remember who they played last game, but they're talking shit to him as they're getting ready to run out on the field.
Seattle, I think.
Yeah, yes, it is. They're talking shit to him, and he's jawing back, And then at the end of the game, as he's running back down the tunnel, he remembers and turns around and starts talking shit back to the fucking fan.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what I want. I don't want fucking oven mitts on my athletes. They are cocky. They're the fucking 1% of the 1%.
Yeah.
Just let them shine, baby.
And you know who's going to remember that? That asshole who fucking bought that ticket. Yeah. That guy's going to have a life-lasting memory.
And that guy is going to both equally hate Baker Mayfield and love the shit out of him for the rest of his fucking life.
Yeah. That's what I told you. My dad loved Bob Dylan. The only time he ever got to meet him, Bob Dylan flicked him off. And he remembered that for the rest of his life. This guy's like, Baker Mayfield talked a lot of shit to me. God damn, that was great. Woo-wee.
Me and Bret Hart. I love him. And then the one time I said, fuck you, Bret, he turned and stared into my soul. Stole it away. I still got to go to like a meet and greet and explain that to him.
Close the loop on that puppy?
Yes, absolutely. And finally, did you know in 2025, AI chips are doubling in power every 6 months, outpacing Moore's Law's 2-year doubling. So Moore's Law says that every 2 years there's going to be
Technology
a doubling
doubles, yeah.
in computing power. And quantum computers are starting to solve problems in seconds that would take supercomputers years, blowing past traditional computing limits. AI chips doubling in power every 6 months are growing at a 625% rate faster than Moore's Law.
God, what you asked me what I would do with the pitchers and hitters. What the hell are we supposed to do about this?
Apparently, we're supposed to get fucking Sora AI videos of some of the most amazing 6 seconds worth of shit that has ever fucking occurred in the history of humanity.
Stephen Hawking in a half pipe, a 400-pounder doing a pole vault. Mr. Rogers talking to Eazy-E and Tupac. Yep.
Dude, it is so great. Now, obviously, there's potential for human destruction attached to this. I said to somebody the other day, we've been worried about Skynet taking over the nukes and pushing the button for us. Nah, that's not what's going to happen. I'm realizing because of all these videos, we're going to willingly push the button because we're going to be so fucking fooled about some global catastrophe that never happened that somebody's going to fucking willingly put those codes in.
Go on.
You're going to see a video that you think is so real that we're convinced that we need to attack now. And we're going to boop, 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 boop.
America's under attack.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to retaliate.
Immediately. Because all the weapon systems that exist are faster and more effective and more deadly than they've ever been in the past. And I just feel like if that global catastrophe is going to happen at the hands of human beings, we're going to pull the trigger. AI is just going to inadvertently convince us to do it. It's going to be by our own volition. It's not going to do it to us. We're going to do it to ourselves.
Do it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't, the blurred lines aren't blurred anymore.
Dude, the body cam style footage that I've seen of these things is so realistic. Now, I will say, like, the cinematic version is still like, I can tell that's AI. But when it looks like it's a cop's body cam or like a cell phone taking the video, I'm not dumb, so I get it, but like it's indistinguishable. My mom would be so fooled seeing Martin Luther King lay a promo in the WWE ring.
Yeah.
Is amazing. It's fucking awesome. I saw somebody freaking out about this. In the future, it's going to be a problem. But right now, I'm excited about this because you and I love movies. You and I are trying to create a show where we write our own movies. This will allow assholes like us to sit in my little fucking cubby in my basement, write, produce, create, and distribute without an outside party. And
without an actor, without paying actors and stagehands and getting permits.
Yeah, and I'm excited about that. I think for creative minds, this is a fucking amazing. I get the apprehension, but I think in in the meantime, that this is just an evolution and amazing. I love it. I fucking love it. Keep it coming, folks.
But yeah, we need more Mr. Rogers, more Tupac rolling out with the NWO. I'm trying to think of a few others that were bookmarked in my swipeology.
But what pisses me off is that this is one of those things where like the world's your oyster, but unfortunately my mind keeps going back to classic WWF promos. That's all I want to rate. That's all I want to make. I've been taking notes of things I want to fucking do. Macho Man fucking elbow dropping a Slim Jim. Just so many fucking dumb fucking things all happening in a wrestling ring.
I saw Macho Man painting a Bob Ross painting the other day. Like, oh, you see that?
I saw Bob Ross painting Ultimate Warrior's face paint on him.
Yep. If that's the end of humanity, fine. I got a big smile on my face.
Let's enjoy the ride, baby. And that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday.
All right. Well, that is all the time we have for In Between the Holes presented by the Middle Class Holes. You can find us on all your social media outlets, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, at the Middle Class Holes, and X. Is it at the Middle Class Holes?
Yeah, that makes sense. We don't do much there, but we'll get there.
Sure.
We'll start from,
That's right. And also at Gmail, tickle our tummies at gmail.com. Drop us a line. We will give you a shout out on the next recording. We will see you next week. Don't know what's going to happen. Who the hell knows? We might have some Randy Savage and Tim Callahan from Callahan Auto selling brake pads.
There hasn't been a lot of Farley out there. We got to do that.
There you go.
I'm waiting on my access code, baby. I just need my access code.
You might see less of us and more of them.
Yes.
Fine by us. We'll see you all next week. Take her easy.
Well, sometimes I may need a hand when I'm just too drunk to stand. I don't need your sympathy. Keep your judgment too. 'Cause you just give it a little pull, and my dick's strong like bull, ready to satisfy my woman the whole night through. I get drunk most every day. Everyone knows Scooter is a gay. Might be on his foot, I'm still riding like a pup. I fell down, but my dick is still up. I fell down, but my dick is still up. I fell down, but my dick still up.